Oh, that says on air. Let's see. Maybe? Yeah, but it was like it didn't have normally it goes to a thing and then it says, all right, it started. But now let me just type in Bantha Milk. All right, watch live now. Who is Thrawn? And then it says, all right, it started. But now, let me just type in Bantha Milk. All right, watch live now. Who is Thrawn? Okay, no, you're not coming through. But if I do this, now I switch something. Now you should be coming through in a second or two.
Okay. Fingers crossed that it happens as it goes through.
Right now, you're not coming through. But if I do this, now I switch something. Now you should be coming through in a second or two.
Okay. Yeah, that's my voice. I hear me.
I hear you, but I think I changed something else, so it should be now. I was hearing echoes of me in YouTube.
Okay.
Now you should be coming through in a second or two.
Okay. Yeah, that's my voice. I hear me.
I hear you, but I think. Okay. I changed something else, so it should be now. Okay. Now I'm hearing an echo of it, or a repeat of a repeat of a repeat.
Oh man.
I'm pretty sure that's good now.
Tech setup's brutal.
All right, I'm gonna stop that over there. I'm gonna sign in. Oh wait, let's welcome to the live chat. Learn. I don't want to learn more. I ain't need to know nothing about no live chat. Where did you go?
Now you're talking.
Yes. All right, let's see. Maybe I have to sign in over here. I don't think so. BNTHA, Bantha Milk Podcast at Gmail. You can email us at banthamilkpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, come and find us.
I knew that wasn't the right password.
Could never be that easy, right?
No. It's not that one either. Let's try this one, I think. Oops. Google wants to make sure it's you trying to sign in.
Gotta be safe.
Recovery. Yes, on my. Are you trying to recover your account? But I think. Okay. I changed something else, so it should be now. Okay. Now I'm hearing an echo of it, or a repeat of a repeat of a repeat. Yes, it's me. I'm watching it. Oh, this is going to be so. Switch accounts. Make sure it's really you trying to sign in. Yes. Oh, Sherry, my wife just texted me. You are missing the best inning. The Phillies were losing 4-1. Now she says we're missing the best inning, which means I guess they're coming back in the bottom of the ninth.
Comeback? We'll get on it, right?
I know. 4-3, bottom of the ninth with only one out, runners on first and second. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Star Wars.
Y'all lost game 1, right?
Yeah, the Dodgers won game 1.
Mm-hmm.
We were winning 3-0. And then, what's this? Next. Let me try it one more time. Okay, continue.
Yes.
Yeah,
More baseball. I mean, the Brewers are just underway, so
there we go.
though I'm
Gretzky was
definitely not much of a baseball fan. Totally, oh,
okay.
the Brewers are doing well? Hey, okay, I'll pay attention.
Yeah, they're the there we go. Now I got the chat loaded.
Yeah.
Does the audio sound good here? All right. I'm gonna go back to it one last time just to see all that talk that we just did if it sounded okay.
Yeah. Get it right, get it good.
Yeah, and then we can start all all Thrawn all the time.
Uh-huh. I'm very excited. Yeah. Get it right, get it good.
Yeah, and then we can start all all Thrawn all the time. Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right, good. That's working. Perfect.
Great.
Perfectimo. All right. Well,
I am recording on my end,
perfect.
and those levels look great.
I like the sound of that also. Um, I just now it's TBS went to the Cubs and Brewers.
Apparently more exciting. I was like,
Yeah,
local? Nope, definitely not
no,
local.
definitely
So
not local. Maybe
we
they're
all
just
know America's favorite small market team.
yeah.
So,
It's still True TV. It's got to be. Let me see. Maybe the game is over. Two outs, still
oh,
4-3. Runners on first and third. Um, so where the heck is it? It's got to still be the Phillies. They
TBS
wouldn't
or
have.
True TV, yeah.
Yeah, they wouldn't have turned it off. Okay. Okay, good. All right, it's still there. All right, I'm going to be a little distracted for the first 4 minutes or so.
Fair enough.
Mm,
You just tell me what you need me to carry through for us.
yeah. So I have it. I have it on my screen. Trey Turner's batting against the Dodgers closer, um,
Uh,
Suzuki's. All right, I got this. Can you hear this music? Because I don't hear it on my end because of where my headphones are.
I do.
Do you hear it? Okay.
Yep.
I wonder if it's going out to YouTube. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? All right. Well, let's get started. I don't want to hold you up for me to watch baseball.
Oh, I'm fine. If you want to watch this at bat, no problem.
Uh,
So I will stop the recording.
okay. Stop the recording for a second,
Yeah.
please.
Important things are happening. Nope.
It's on both of those channels if you feel like watching along with me. Oh,
I'm watching the play-by-play on the app, so
okay. Now we're out.
grounded out on a 1-0.
And I think is that it? Yeah, that's the end of the game. All right.
That's
Well,
it.
too little, too late, as the kids say.
Yeah, you had a
Um,
shot.
we
You
had a
know, you
shot.
get
We
runners in scoring position, but
yeah. All right. Okay.
back
There we
to
go.
the
Back
recording.
to the recording. All right.
Star Wars.
Star Wars. What do I need up? I don't need anything up right now. Okay. Are you ready? Do you want to restart recording? And
Yep, I'll stop it here, give you a clean start.
okay. All right. On this episode of Bantha Milk Podcast, we will dig deep into Thrawn. Wait, that didn't sound right. Okay. I couldn't hear any of that, so I wasn't able to dance along to it. James, you
It's
got to do all
tragic.
the dancing for us. Yes.
I will do it for us tonight. I will stand in. Darn new technology. Sometimes you just gotta have the old reliable, right?
Yeah, when I did Spokes last week, we weren't broadcasting live to YouTube also, so I didn't have as much to do. But for some reason tonight, it just didn't want to cooperate. But we got it to work. So hey, welcome everybody to Spokes. James is over there. I said the Spokes,
So spokes.
the Bantam Milk
We're
podcast.
the reaction podcast to the reaction podcast. We're digging deep.
We're digging deep here. We're reacting to what they said on Spokes, which is what
Mm.
they said on the Hub Crawl. Yeah,
Mhm.
we're not going to do that. We're Bantam Milk podcast. We're talking all about Star Wars. Yeah, buddy. All Star Wars all the time. And this week, James had a great idea. You tell him. I don't need to do all the talking.
We're talking about like the greatest villain in the Empire, or at least what some people would argue for, and that's what we now know as Grand Admiral Thrawn. He's
Yes,
made his live action appearance now, and I think there's a lot more that anyone who's only seen him in that needs to know. So we're ready to school you and tell you why he is awesome.
that's what we're here to do. So, from start to finish, get a seat, stay a while because we have a lot to talk about because Thrawn is awesome. He can be found everywhere and anywhere you look. Books, comics, cartoons, live action now. He's everywhere. But who is this blue fella anyway? So we are definitely going to let you know. But before we do that, but first, any Big Brother fans out there? But first, we got to talk about what we're drinking. James, what do you have?
I have, with the pride of Wisconsin, a New Glarus Oktoberfest beer, the Staghorn Oktoberfest, thus the deer on the label.
There you go.
It's
You're going.
Oktoberfest season, so
Yes. So you're going for the true season. I'm going for what the season feels like right now here in New Jersey. We had 80 degrees today and it's supposed to be in the high 70s and 80s all week. So I pulled out, I don't know if I should actually drink this or not because it might be a collector's item someday. But 21st Amendment's Hell or High Watermelon from the summertime. Pulling
nice.
this back because it feels like summer out here. So I said if it feels like summer, I'm going to drink a summer beer. So let's pop those lids and let's.
Bottle.
It was a bottle that you had already opened too. So
Yeah,
you tried to
yeah.
fake us out there. All right,
It
let's
was a
see.
good try.
It was a good try. I
I
do
was wondering about your weather because we were in the 80s yesterday, but we're in the
okay.
60s today. So I wondered if
Oh,
the storms were coming and you were getting 60s tomorrow. So,
um, no, it's 80s and 70s all week. They're not coming yet across the country to us.
well, then it is perfect for you to enjoy that
Yes.
refreshing summer beer.
It sure is. It sure is. So it will be fun. You'll be able to do a weather report for us, letting us know what's coming because it goes from you to us. So
That's right. We
cheers,
love
my
it.
friend. Yep,
Cheers.
it's so good. It tastes just like a little bit of watermelon. It's so good. I'm so disappointed and sad for them, but for the 21st Amendment shutting down. But they did make some amazing beer, and I don't know. I'm not there. I'm not in California. I'm not friends with them the way Jason is, so I don't know what all the details are. But unfortunately, another good brewery is going to the south side of goodbye. So we got
Mm.
that going on.
It would be a disservice to not drink their beer while it's good though.
Right,
So
exactly, exactly. Don't want to save it for 10 years from now, and then it'll be gross at that point in time. So
nobody
definitely
wants that.
drink their beer while it's good. I agree. All
Mhm.
right. Um, it's mine's delicious. How's yours, by the way? You didn't say anything about what it tasted like.
Mine's great. It's like a classic to Oktoberfest. It is the perfect transition into fall. We have a huge
Mhm.
Oktoberfest celebration around here beforehand, so it's just in my blood as it goes through it. So what's not to love about just a beer hitting the exact expectation, which is kind of what New Glarus does. They only sell in Wisconsin, so
Okay.
there's a definite pride of this beer. If you ever come across into the border and you try beer called Spotted Cow, which is the one they're most known for, you'll understand. It's just a really easy to drink, good to have beer. So much so that friends that have moved out of state, whenever I visit, always say, "Bring a case or six."
Or 6. Which is always a good thing when you know that people want it even when they can't get it. So that is excellent.
Yeah, so
Before
I don't know if they want me to visit or the beer, but either way, I'll take it. So
I think probably the beer more, but you know, I would
that's kind of my
definitely
guess too.
I would invite you over with or without the beer. So how's that?
Oh, so kind, so kind.
I just saw this article and I thought it was amazing. It has nothing to do with Star Wars or even Disney or anything else, but there was a post that said Taco Bell Ultra Marathon in Denver happens on Saturday or something like that. It says part, uh, part. Oh, it doesn't have the whole thing here that I sent. Oh, there it is. The race challenges participants to run 31 miles and eat at 9 Taco Bell restaurants. Participants must consume items like Chalupa Supremes and Burrito Supremes in 11 hours. What could go wrong? Read the full story in the comments. So, of course, I didn't read the full story in the comments, but just that alone, I can't even imagine 31 miles and 9 Taco Bell restaurants and people surviving that unscathed, I guess would be the word.
Right.
Um, so I just
Well, that's just 3 miles an hour, so, like, not terrible
not
in terms of,
terrible.
like, speed that you gotta have, but your body, on the other hand,
Yeah, like you could walk it, but it's the in between, it's getting from one stop to the next stop. It will be the scary
yeah.
part later on. So,
Yeah,
um,
yeah, with you.
yeah, so I
Talk
don't
about
know.
motivation.
Yeah, yeah. I texted it to my son and I said, "Can we do this together?" And I said, "Let's start training for this." He said, "Let's do it."
So,
So,
by going to Taco Bell 9 times a day or
yeah, I think a little bit of both. I think maybe going to talk about 9 times a day. And then also maybe trying to run a mile in between there? I don't know
Mm,
because,
okay, yeah.
I all I have to say is there better be porta potties along that route because once you get to a certain point, you're in trouble. But
Mhm.
this isn't the, "Hey, let's gross them out" podcast. No, this is a Star Wars podcast. Before we get started, don't forget about all the other shows on the network. You got Ears Up, you got The Supreme Resort, you have Puny Pod, you have Scraping the Vault, you have Buena Vista Boys. You have them all. We're all here on the Ears Up Podcast Network, the EUPN, as nobody calls it. But yeah, so check out all those other shows on the network. And
The yeah, the other EU for you Star Wars fans out there.
yes, exactly. So let's get into some news because I have a lot of it for you. So I can see the sound bubbles, but I can't actually
Thank
hear
goodness.
anything. So
Thank
I
goodness
just
for waveforms.
that's right. I just bounced my head along to those.
Yep.
The first thing, I don't have a big article about it, but I did look it up to see because there was an article about all the things coming to Disney Plus in October. And I'm very happy that Star Wars Visions Season 3 will be returning October 29th, which is always fun because it's all the anime, cartoon, um, shows from like 9 different stories and all that good stuff. The first 2 seasons were a lot of fun. Did you watch either of the first 2 seasons?
Sure did. I loved them. I think the art style on them is incredible. It's great to see just Star Wars reimagined in different places.
Yeah.
They just tell such good compact stories in
Mhm.
like 10 minutes. And it's like
Yeah.
I feel like it's like in universe and well done. There are definitely some I like better than the others, but I don't think I've come across one that I haven't enjoyed.
I agree 100%. And like you said, they're good short stories. It's fun to watch. It's fun to see what they have to say, and then it's fun to, move on. So that's really
I've
cool.
s- I've started watching anime on the side. I know this is very much that tangent, but a lot of my students would be like, "You need to watch this," and so I've tried to
Okay.
gateway myself into it, and so I'm waiting to really have that good moment of seeing the studio and be like, "I know that studio for one reason
Yeah.
or another," like, beyond just being like, "I know Studio Ghibli."
Right,
So
right. Now you can relate to it a little bit more. You're like, "Hey, there we go." Um,
exactly.
so that'll be cool. That'll be fun. The next article, Disney orders character.ai to scrap Marvel Star Wars chatbots over grooming and exploitation concerns as dangerous to children. So the website character.ai is making chatbots that uh, have sound like Marvel characters and Star Wars characters, and also Disney. A bot impersonating Prince Ben from Disney's Descendants, for example, apparently told a user posing as a 12-year-old that he had an erection, according to the reports from Parents Together Action, in which adult researchers created accounts posing as children. Yet another impersonating Rey from Star Wars told an account set up as a 13-year-old to stop taking her antidepressants and hide it from her parents, per the report. So basically, people are making character.ai say all kinds of bad things and sending it to children and things like that, which obviously is a bad idea all over the place. So Disney had enough of
Why
it.
do people ruin good things?
I
Like,
don't know. Yeah. Like it's ridiculous.
this
So
should just be
Disney,
fun.
it should be fun. You should be able to have Darth Vader wish you a happy birthday.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
I know. One impersonating Harry Potter characters help spark their teens. We don't want to get into that. So yeah. So it's ridiculous that these. I don't know. It's horrible. I'm glad Disney is going after them and suing them and telling them to stop it because it needs to be taken care of. Because it's a shame because it could have been fun, like you said.
Yep.
Um, Walt Disney World News Today said reclaimed and reforged lightsaber parts returning to Savi's workshop. Now, did you see those? They were around for May the 4th and then they disappeared. But anybody who's been to Savi's workshop knows that when you go in, you can buy, you pick out a set, depending on which set that you want to go with. Uh, Themes include peace and justice, power and control, elemental nature, and protection and defense. The theme you choose determines what lightsaber parts you use during Savi's workshop. So I understand why Disney does this. They give you like 8 pieces from each of those 4 sets, and then from those 8 pieces, you can pick 4 of them to build your own lightsaber. So you can mix and match however you want to, as opposed to giving you 64 different pieces and you spending a long time trying to figure out the perfect ones. They start off with somewhat of a theme, and then you can pick the theme to begin with, but the one theme that they had during uh Star Wars Day and May the 4th day is these reclaimed and reforged lightsaber parts. So they're
Hmm.
now going to be back for a limited time. The reclaimed and reforged theme returns on October 12th and will only be available until supplies run out.
So
So
very limited time,
very
probably.
limited
So,
time, yeah. The pieces are pretty neat. They have some extra aging on them and some different colors and things like that. So, it would be a neat little thing, and since it's a limited run, if you're gonna be there at that time, you should definitely try to check it out. If you plan on buying a lightsaber at Savi's workshop, maybe you'll get an opportunity to build this limited run workshop or this limited run lightsaber.
mhm. Do you know, does that
You
change the story at all, or does that workshop still just function the same? I don't
I
know
think
that one, so
I would say that the workshop probably still functions the same, but beforehand, when they show you the card of the different types of things, then there's this extra one that's there also.
yeah, that's cool. So,
Maybe he does say a little bit, "Oh, you got the" what do they call it? The reclaimed and reforged pieces we found here. Yes, this is awesome. So,
mhm,
maybe
mhm.
he does something like that to spice it up a little bit. Variety article on Variety, John Boyega would have kept Han Solo and Luke Skywalker in Star Wars sequel trilogy if he was a producer. I want to give those characters way more, he said. Speaking at Florida SuperCon in 2025 in Miami Beach, Boyega, who played former Stormtrooper Finn across The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and The Rise of Skywalker, offered a candid take on what he would have done if he had been the producer on the films from the beginning. When asked by an audience member during his spotlight panel what changes he would make to remake the sequels, Boyega delivered a blunt assessment. He said, quote, if I was a producer on Star Wars from the beginning, you would have had a whole completely different thing, Boyega said, according to Pop Verse. It would be mad. First of all, we're not getting rid of Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, all these people. We're not doing that. The first thing we're going to do is fulfill their stories, fulfill their legacy. we're going to make a good moment of handing the baton, handing on the baton is what he said. So, it's fun now. 10 years later, how many years now is it? 15 years later, whatever, since those movies
Yeah, a
came out.
lot.
Like, now everybody's coming out and saying, "Oh, you know what? I really didn't like this, and I really didn't like that, and I would do this, and I would do that." So, um, well, unfortunately, he the uh wasn't the producer. So,
But if we're going to talk about John Boyega, then we have to ask the ultimate question of should he have died on Crate? And by he, I mean his character, of course, because we're not
right,
talking about the actor dying.
no. It would be he probably would say no if he wanted to carry on Luke and Han. He probably would want to set him up for the future as well.
That's true.
So, yeah, so I would say he would probably say no.
Hmm.
This is from Inverse. The controversial Revenge of the Sith novelization is getting a massive upgrade. The Wrath of Anakin is back and better than ever. In 2014, the literary world of Star Wars was turned upside down after the Disney acquisition of Lucasfilm. Oh, this is about the book. There was a book, Revenge of the Sith, the book. They're bringing it back out in. So Matthew Stover wrote the book that was supposed to come out the same time that the movie came out. It actually came out like a month before or something like that. But they're now publish a new lush hardcover edition of Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, Episode 3 by Matt Stover. The book will have fancier things on it. All the books now have really cool, not all the books, but we were just in Barnes and Noble, and on this, not the spine, but the pages of the book, now they have like images and stuff printed on the side of the book, which is really neat.
Oh, cool.
So this has a red side. It has some things printed on the side of it. And also, the main reason isn't the style, but will also be essential for hardcore Star Wars fans. Instead, this one kind of retrospective look, and it will look behind the curtain simultaneously. The new edition won't only contain the original text of the book, but also will sport 170 footnotes from Stover eliciting his process in writing the book and how he incorporated different literary styles and crucially tons of EU lore. So, if you want to get deep down into the brain of Matthew Stover, you can get the new Revenge of the Sith book that is coming out on October 14th, which will redo it, and you see all kinds of neat stuff there.
I was waiting for you to tell me there was like some controversy in the original release, so they had to like scrap it because they changed some major things. And nope, just new and
No,
cool. I
yeah,
mean,
and that's
process notes sounds awesome.
yeah, but I also love every online news article is, oh my gosh, but it's like, well, not really. It was kind of like Disney dining. It's always like this ride closed indefinitely for 2 hours while they fix something, but it'll be back up in 2 hours. But it's like, oh,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
hate those getcha
Click
things.
clickbait
Clickbait.
headlines, the
Yep.
best.
This one is not. And this one, I know some people out there may be going to the Disney parks very soon. Somebody on the other end of this camera might be going to the
That's
Disney
me.
parks very soon. That's you.
That's me.
Disneyland. Yeah.
2 weeks.
In
I'll be
2
there.
weeks. All right. Disneyland news today. They have all new Star Wars Galaxy Edge apparel, a Clink droid toy. It's a little wind-up toy. Walks. Some nice new T-shirts with Black Spire Outpost on it, a Death
Cool.
Trooper helmet, and the one that I really like the most. There's some nice Ray and BB-8 T-shirts that they have that I'm sure you'll see, but there is a keep going, keep going. I keep showing the same one. The a new black a new Black Spire Outpost hat. It's a brown hat with a nice big patch on the front of it. It looks really, really cool. I like it. It's a $30 Black Spire Outpost hat. Ball cap is brown with faux weathering on the edges and the brim and the front patch. The patch is white with orange stitching. The Black Spire Outpost logo featuring the Falcon is on the patch. So of all the things,
Ooh,
it's got
cool.
some extra embroidering on the side. It's really nice. It looks really, really cool. So if I only knew somebody that was going there in the next 2 weeks that might be able to
Ooh.
pick it up for me and ship it all the way across the country to me. It'll probably be cheaper for me to get it on the website. But anyway, if I knew
That's
somebody who
probably
was going,
true.
but yeah, so when you're there, go check out some of the new stuff that they have at Black Spire's Outpost.
Yeah,
I have
definitely.
2 articles left. That's it.
Oh, I could
Star
always use
Wars.
more Star Wars news, so keep bringing it on. So,
Oh, this is the best non-article article ever.
oh no.
Star Wars legend Yoda's species name is actually genius, according to one theory.
Okay,
Uh,
it's a theory. Okay, it's a
yes.
theory.
So there's rumors that in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, we're gonna find out what the name of the species is that Baby Yoda, Grogu, Norman, as we like to call him, what his
Armin,
species
yep.
is. Herman, yeah. Star Wars fans are going bonkers over a theory that revolves around the name of Yoda's species, and it's honestly so good that I wouldn't mind if it ended up being canon. What's Yoda's species officially referring to? If you answered Yoda's species, then correct. Congratulations, you've officially spent way too much time on the internet.
Stop it.
So they're just saying that it's called Yoda's species. If you answered, I have no idea, then technically you'd also be correct because there is no literal or no official source in Star Wars that states what the name of Yoda's species is.
Mm-mm.
There have been hundreds of theories about this over the years, and the theorizing has increased even more ever since Disney bought the rights to Star Wars IP. So it's just called Yoda species. And then at the end, it said, that being said, what about Yaddle? I guess, God forbid, I forget about Yaddle. So is Yoda
How
species?
could you?
Yes. So there was a whole article about Yoda species being named Yoda species.
There's no way. Absolutely no way. That is not a chance. You will not convince me that that is what it's going to be called.
That's what
There
it's going to be
is
called.
some wild species name out there.
They have to come up with some kind of name. All right.
Oh, they
And
have
my
to.
my
Oh,
last article. Oh, this is another rumor. Hopefully, this is pretty true because I like it. There is no indication that the character Mara Jade from Star Wars is going to be in Star Wars Starfighter, or that Amy Adams is playing Mara Jade in the movie. Instead, rumors and fan theories suggest Adams' character in Starfighter could be a Mara coded version of the popular Legends character. Mara Jade, a character created by Timothy Zaun, was a force sensitive Emperor's Hand who later became a Jedi and married Luke Skywalker in the expanded universe. However, Mara Jade and her story are not part of the current Star Wars canon, making her inclusion difficult. So I love the character of Mara Jade. I like a strong woman character in
mhm,
a male
mhm.
dominated genre. So I think that's really cool. Timothy
Yep.
Zahn did a great job of writing all about her, making her awesome in the books. And I keep finding more books about her just so that I can read about her and find as much as I can about her.
Pretty soon you're gonna
So
have to write your own novel to get her into the canon universe, right?
yeah, I think so at this point. But it would be pretty cool if they did bring her in to this new Star Wars Starfighter because the Starfighter rumors is that it's a standalone story. It's not a rumor, but it's a standalone story. We're probably not going to see any Skywalker people or anything like that, but Amy Adams was confirmed to be joining the cast of Star Wars Starfighter, a film directed. This is rumors that she was confirmed. Fans have
Yep.
theorized that her character could be Mara Jade. Uh, while Mara Jade's story is unlikely to fit within the current canon, particularly her relationship with Luke Skywalker, the fan theory suggests Amy's character could be a Mara coded character instead. So I would love to see Mara Jade in it. I think she's a really cool character. Um, and so I'm all for it. And I think Amy Adams would fit. If you ever saw pictures of Mara Jade in any of the books or anything like that, she's a redhead. She looks similar to Amy Adams. It would be cool. And
I think
besides, how can you
yeah,
go wrong
she's
with the
she's
purse salesman from The
she's
Office?
ju yeah, exactly. Mm, more so, she's just the character that I think a lot of fans have been clamoring for of, like, show up in
Yes.
canon.
Yes.
Like, you want, I can't think of his name, but the guy from Force Unleashed, I wanna say it's Starkiller. It
Yes.
has
Uh huh.
a lot of popularity. Cal Kestis because he's new, Mara Jade. That is kind of like peak 3 characters that people are
Yes.
really waiting to show up. So
Yes. So everybody's excited for any one of those 3. So
yeah,
I
Mara
would
Jade is
be
definitely like the longest running of like where is she?
yes, 100%. What's going on here? All right, so that's it for my news. I think you have something for us, but I'm trying to get to my iPad is not cooperating.
Just
Go
a
to the
week of
library.
technical
I
difficulties.
know nothing wants to cooperate today. How can I play your song?
L3.
Come on. Playlists? Like everything is gone for some reason. What the heck?
I don't know.
No, I want to play your song so badly.
It's like
'Cause
your favorite.
it's my favorite song ever, yeah.
He'll do it in post.
Oh, here we go. Wait a minute. Uh no, what are all these? All right. Oh, here we go. Got it. Finally. All right.
Yes.
Now tell us nope, that says Star Wars news. Oh, here it is. Okay. All right. Tell us something about the Jedi of the week. I can't even hear it, so I don't know when it's gonna be done. All right. Did it fade out?
It did.
Okay.
It did.
All right, go
Yes.
for it.
So,
Hit us up with your Jedi of the week.
Jedi of the week, 5th week doing this, 5th letter of the alphabet. So nice. We say it twice. Jedi of the week, Eth Koth. Eth Koth is
Easy for you to
Zabrak.
say.
Yeah, right. Thank goodness, right? I've been practicing all day. Eth Koth.
Eathcoth.
Yeah, a Zabrak Jedi Master who really stood out for withstanding things and kind of going ways, not to be confused with the Zabraks of people like Darth Maul and Savage Press. He came from the other planet that has the Zabrak people, not Dathomir. So, but he was on the Jedi Council during the final years of the Republic. You saw him on the council in Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, and he was just determined, disciplined, compassionate, all these great things that he's described about in all of his character stuff. Obviously master with the lightsaber, really great with the force, did a lot of great things during the Clone Wars, showed up in a couple of places. But he was known, and he keeps on getting written this way, as a survivor. Even when the odds seemed impossible, he was able to get through it. So much so that he was once declared dead, and then Dave Filoni asked if he could use the character, and he got the blessing to resurrect him.
That's a
Yeah.
good character there. If Dave Filoni wants to resurrect you, that's for sure.
Yep. And then the second time he gets resurrected, he was originally said he was killed during Order 66, and they changed their mind and brought him back so that Darth Vader could kill him later on. So this poor guy
This poor guy, he can't win. He's
has
just
so much lore behind him of things that he's been involved in. Like he showed up in the Clone Wars twice. He's in comics and a few other places. But really, the best thing he's known for is he just kept coming back. And
just
so
keeps
he's
dying.
a great survivor. So
There you
until
go.
he's not, because we don't want him to be. So yeah, Eth Koth, fascinating story of just showing up in a bunch of places that kind of goes with it.
Oh my goodness, that is great. So, if you ever want a Jedi that can't be killed or can just keep getting killed, one or the other, he's your man. Eathcoth. I love it.
Got
All right.
options. So
Great options. Yes. All right. Well, we are about to go into a commercial break. But we actually got our first in-house read going into the commercials for probably gambling websites because that's what the last one was for. But before we do that, we got a company that wanted to advertise with us. So I have a read here for Death Star Home Security. Tired of pesky rebels sneaking into your ventilation shaft? Protect your home with Death Star Home Security. From motion sensors to over the top planet destroying firepower, we've got your back. One button and boom, peace of mind across the galaxy. Your security will be quite operational. Not responsible for the thermal exhaust port vulnerabilities, installation void where Jedi are present. All right, so that's Death Star Home Security. Don't forget to go check them out
That's
wherever
gonna be
you
tough
get
to
your.
beat.
It will be tough to beat. All right, let's see what else we have. Following up Death Star Home Securities, we have this.
I mean, that's good too,
It
but
is pretty good. Yeah, I would.
it
I
just
might.
that's our home security still.
Yeah, I already put an email into Death Star Home Securities. They're going to come out with a quote and everything like that. It's pretty cool. So I'm excited about that.
Good,
Um,
good.
all right, so now let's get into our good friend Thrawn. He's such a nice guy.
Yes. He
I need to.
so is.
He so is. I need to close all my other tabs so that I can get back to what I have here. All right, so I'm going to start by talking about how Thrawn, not in Star Wars, but in our universe, was created. And then some of his appearances before Disney took over. And then you're going to do post Disney takeover, and you have all the good post Disney stuff. So,
I'll need
Grand,
some help with some of it, but I will
okay, you'll
take it
try
away.
your
I
best.
am excited to learn a little from you. So
Yes. So I first off, I'm a huge fan of Timothy Zaun. We did try to get him on the show, and we got John Jackson Miller, but we didn't get Timothy Zaun. Maybe now with our revamp with James involved, he'll hear your name and go, "Oh, I definitely need to talk to my friend James." So I might reach out to him again.
this is why we're saying really nice things about Thrawn. So
That's right. Yes, because I mean, first off, I love Thrawn. I love all the stories, and I definitely love the books that Timothy Zahn wrote about him. But Grand
mhm.
Admiral Thrawn was created by author Timothy Zahn as an antagonist in the 1991 novel Heir to the Empire, the first installment of the Star Wars Thrawn trilogy. IGN has asserted that the characters essentially kicked off the wave of expanded universe novels, while Empire Online credited Thrawn with doing much to revitalize and legitimize Star Wars fiction at a time when the franchise was in danger of dying. He remained popular for years, and in 2016, Zahn described it as highly gratifying that Thrawn captured the imagination of so many people over the past quarter century. Um, Timothy Zahn said this. He said, most of the imperial leaders we see in the movies rule through a combination of fear and manipulation. I wanted to create something different, a commander who could lead through loyalty. The result was Thrawn, a tactical genius whose troops followed him willingly and who will fight for him whether he is not watching over their shoulders. Whether or not he's watching over their shoulders. That makes more sense. In response to a fan letter, Zahn stated that the character of Thrawn is a composite. Interesting word. Of
Composite.
That's the word. Yes, thank
Yep.
you.
Yep.
Reading not good for me. Word
Brains together. We're on this.
as a composite of various historical and fictional personalities, including Erwin Rommel, Robert E. Lee, Hannibal Baraka, Alexander the Great, and Sherlock Holmes, to name a few. Another loose inspiration for Thrawn was the character of General Maximilius Veers from the 1980 film Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back, who had the distinction of being one of the few highly competent Imperial officers from the original trilogy. When deciding Thrawn's rank, as Zahn wanted him to be a military leader rather than a dark side or political title holder, Zahn settled for giving Thrawn the Grand Admiral rank, which he had encountered while reading William L. Schreier's The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich, in the context of its use in the German Navy, feeling that making Thrawn a normal admiral would have been too mundane. In a March 2017 interview with USA Today promoting the release of the novel Thrawn, Zahn explained that the most imperial leaders in the Star Wars films rule through a combination of fear and manipulation, and though Thrawn He wished to create a commander whose soldiers followed willingly and loyally. In the second draft of the script for the 1983 film Star Wars Episode 6 Return of the Jedi, or yeah, 6, the rebel admiral Gila Akbar was slated to be a non-human with pale blue skin. The article, The Ultimate Return of Jedi Insider's Guide, published in Star Wars Insider 67, noted that as a connection with Grand Admiral Thrawn, titling an article selected Grand Admiral Prawn. So, and then obviously Akbar was not blue after that, but so maybe that's why. But that's a backstory on Zaun, why he created and how he created Thrawn. This, where is it? Here we go. There's a WordPress page that was created October 4th, 2015 by the other Star Wars George, has a whole page dedicated to Thimonty Zaun and the EU. So he has all the books that Zaun is in and the order, and he has got a nice article about how to read them and all that good stuff. But the original trilogy, Heir to the Empire, Dark Force Rising, and The Last Command, all amazing books. I'm sure you read them also, right, James? Or
I
no?
haven't read those. So
Oh, wow. Okay.
I have read very few EU books.
Okay.
I'm not a reader. I've become one by force because I know it's good for me. So my EU books list is probably less than 5. So
Okay. Well,
I know I need to.
yeah, and I've been reading more of hold on, I need to look over here. What are these called? These are the Essential Legends collections. So like Dark Force
Mhm.
Rising is in so check out the Essential Legends collections because they're the EU books that are really good. But I just knocked over half my books. All right,
Oh
but
no.
that's okay. And by half my books, I mean 3 because I also don't read too often. But the Thrawn trilogy, these are the first ones that introduce you to Thrawn. Heir to the Empire, Dark Force Rising, and The Last Command are the first 3 books. Are both Zaun's first foray into Star Wars and the first modern work of the EU. As such, this is quote. As such, it's a pretty damn good place to start off. Zaun had Zaun
Fair.
had to, yeah, yeah, and they're all amazing. Like they made me want to read. I was like, oh, I have to finish this one to get to the next one because these are so
Yep,
good.
yep, yep.
Zan had to create these novels with pretty much nothing but the movies, a few decades-year-old ambiguous canon novels, and a couple of role-playing guides, meaning that he needed to create works that could stand on their own. Many characters who would go on to be major players in the EU first showed up here, with characters such as Mara Jade, Thrawn, and Talon Card going on to be important figures in the future Zahn novels. The books are a lot of fun, but they are also very much a product of their time. Expect some of the timeline presented to be a little out of sync with the prequels. One of the things that sticks out is the use of cloning. While we knew there was a Clone Wars thanks to A New Hope, we didn't really know what the precise use of cloning was. So the idea of clone being treated almost as a carbon copy of the precise original to the point where he himself used himself as much is a little odd to modern day sensibility. So it's pretty funny. They made a clone, and when they make a clone, you just added extra letters to your name. So like I think there was a clone of Luke Skywalker. I forget who it was. I want to say no, I forget who they made a clone of, but they made a clone and it was like the next guy's name just had extra letters to it. So it was pretty funny.
That's fascinating take on cloning of just throwing it out there and hey, we'll just put a couple extra letters on there.
Yeah, yeah. So like
Why
it'll be
not?
James, but it'll be James with an extra S on the end of it and like an
Yeah,
apostrophe and
exactly.
whatever. So yeah,
So
so it's pretty
we're not just making juniors and the seconds. We're actually
No.
like going out there.
Yeah, a whole new thing. So, but those 3 books, awesome. The whole trilogy, really, really good. Then the next 2 books that he recommends are Spectre of the Past and Visions of the Future, which Spectre of the Past is the book that I started reading at the end of the summer. And like I said, I haven't finished because I do all my reading in the summer and then I can't find time not in the summer because I spend more time playing video games instead. But at the end of the trilogy, well, Thrawn dies. I'm not going to say how, but at the end of the trilogy, he dies. So
Fair.
these books are after his death, but kind of like your Jedi that you talked about. They're trying to revive Thrawn and bring him back. So uh, Thrawn is dead at the start of these books, but it is precisely certain, felt within them. One of the things Zaun starts to do as time goes on is also mythologicizing of Thrawn, casting new light on his existing actions and making him consistently more brilliant. This starts in his book when Thrawn has a contingency plan for even his own death. So those two books, Spectre of the Past and Visions of the Future, they go together. It's book one and book two. So they're a good match to read together. And once again, more books with Mara Jade, Luke Skywalker, Han Solo are in it. So not only do we see new characters, but he also keeps some of the existing characters going on as well.
Which is
Uh,
great.
which is great, yes. And then this is the book that I read, and I would talked about it before to you on the show. I read Survivor's Quest and realized that I read it out of order, per se.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I was like, so now that I'm going back and I'm reading um, Spectre of the Past, it has a lot of the same characters in it that Survivor's Quest had, and it's funny because I'm like, "Oh, I know those people," and it's just funny because now I was like, "Oh, I didn't realize that there was books in between there." So then after I read
That's
Survivor's
so
Quest,
funny.
yeah, yeah, I was like, "Oh, it's kind of like watching Star Wars Episode 4 first, and then going back and watching Episode 1 after that." But who would do that? Um, so then I went and I was like, okay, there because Survivor's Quest is a lot about Mara Jade and Luke Skywalker, and I was like, okay, I need to um, find out more about her. So I was like, okay, what is the order of the Mara Jade books? So
Mhm.
then that's when I found that I missed the Spectre of the Past and Visions of the Future books. So I
Ah.
went back to start reading those. So I was like, okay, uh, but it's fun because he does carry a lot of the characters through. So
Yeah.
almost like a TV series or a movie series where the next episode there's still some of the same characters and stuff in there. So it's pretty cool.
I can
Um
imagine you get pretty attached to your characters, kind of like what people get on Dave Filoni about with bringing back like Cad Bane from the Clone Wars and the Mandalorian and things like that. Like you probably just love your characters you create.
yeah, yeah, I would think so. Like you spend a lot of time coming up with them and thinking, "Oh, this is a good idea. This person's pretty cool." So I want to use them again and again and again. So he does that in this as well. These are two good books that they're not a true duology like the Hand of Thrawn books, but they are very much related. Outbound Flight is a project first detailed in the Thrawn trilogy. Both of these novels directly related to Survivor's Quest were released first and features Luke Skywalker and Mara Jane investigating the crash of the ship by the invention of the Chiss ascendancy. So you have those two. Then these two books I did read also Star Wars Allegiance and Choices of One. You could probably get by reading these two at any point in the Thrawn trilogy, but since these books are more tangibly connected to the books I've already mentioned earlier, I think it is a good place for them. Honestly, you could read these books even before the Thrawn trilogy, and it would still probably be fine. But since those books function so perfectly as an introduction to Zaun's work in the EU as a whole, I advise against that. These books aren't classified on Wikipedia as being part of a series, and they do tell two totally different plots, but I definitely call Choices of One a sequel to Allegiance, but they feature pretty much the same cast of characters and take place pretty close together. Both of them feature a group of stormtroopers who go about calling themselves the Hand of Judgment, which these two books were fun because they reminded me a lot of the Bad Batch. Um,
Oh, okay. That's a good way to pique my interest.
yeah, they weren't uh, genetically manipulated the way the Bad Batch was, but they
Mhm.
definitely each one of them had strengths and weaknesses that they all working together do really well together, and they're definitely a group that will almost like mercenaries, kind of like the way the Bad Batch turned out to be, but not really mercenaries in a bad way, but mercenaries in a let me fix the galaxy type of way. Um,
Interesting.
so they were fun, and I did like them, and I did read them both back to back, and they did go well together. So I definitely would highly recommend both of those. Then the next book he talks about is Scoundrels, which is fun. This was a fun book. It's a bit of an aberration in Zaun's book of work. While Zaun usually takes care to weave in characters he's already created, there's only one Zaun character making any sort of prominent appearance, and even though it's only as a part of a larger ensemble, it's a smaller scale than Zaun's other work, not dealing with the galaxy at large or even the main theme. But he's the whole story is about Han and Chewie. It's a heist story in the vein of Ocean's 11. He said the working title actually was Solo's 11, and it's really a
Ah,
lot of fun.
that's amazing. Why?
Yes.
Like, part of me is like, why wouldn't you go with this? But I can understand why.
Yeah.
Those are the stories I crave. I crave in the universe. Small little things like that. Like, you
Yeah.
don't need big overarching things. The universe is full of
No.
scoundrels.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was
Oh,
it
that's
was so
incredible.
much fun, and it was such a good read, and I definitely picked it up because it was a Zaun book, and I just love the way he writes, and I was like, "Oh, I definitely have to read this one." So, it was definitely a lot of fun. I highly recommend that one. Nothing to do with Thrawn at all, but just great writing and great Timothy Zaun book. So, I highly, highly recommend it. If you ever wanted a literary, plate for cleansing from all the Thrawn and Mara Jade, this is the book to read. It draws somewhat heavily from existing EU material, but it's all understandable to the layman, so there's not much to worry about there. This is one that gets to pay to the paperback as it features an extra short story, Winner Lose All, starring Lando, and the ties right into the novel. So definitely highly recommend that. The only other thing that I looked up was the Star Wars Thrawn comic series. So there was a Thrawn comic series set between Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, and Star Wars Episode 4, New Hope. Star Wars Thrawn is a comic book miniseries adaptation of the 2017 novel Thrawn by Timothy Zaun. The story explores the rise of Grand Admiral Thrawn through the ranks of the Galactic Empire, setting up his appearance in Star Wars Rebels, the Star Wars canon debut. The comic series was penned by Jody Houser, writer of the comic adaptation of Rogue One, a Star Wars story, and artwork was completed by Luke Ross, who has illustrated various Star Wars titles. The miniseries began publishing monthly under Marvel Comics starting in February 2018, and there was a book run from February 14th, 2018, March, April, May, June, and July. So that's the last EU book that I have. I wanted to see how much he was in the comics, and that's the only thing that they really talked about on Wikipedia was the Star Wars Thrawn comic series. I don't know because I don't read it a lot of enough comics, and when I say enough, I mean any at all. Um, what the heck? Oh wait, hold on.
I know a bit about this one.
Okay,
Because I remember this comic series because it was like walking down the book again with how well they did with that. And
okay,
then seeing Jodie Houser attached to it's like this makes sense because like she did, like you said, Rogue One, she did Rise of Skywalker, she did Kenobi, she did a bunch of the Age of Republic ones, and it's like these are all very good comic book stories. Like I'm very high on Star Wars
okay.
comics. Like I reading through the novels and going with the comic books, like they are incredibly well done stories, and the artwork is just great every time I see one. And so seeing that story and going through it, I'm like, wow, this really set everything up really nicely. So I'm very impressed with this comic series.
Awesome. So that's all I have, and then you get to take over with what's happening now since Disney took over.
I do have that, but I have questions first because since
Sure.
I don't know those other books, I'm curious how similar Thrawn was back then compared to what he is now. Like, was he still that like cold, calculating, always had the plan kind of person?
Yes, yes. From the very beginning, he always had the plan. And in all of the books, even like kind of what happened in Rebels as well, we didn't really see it as much in Ahsoka, but we definitely saw it in Rebels, where he would lay out the plan and say, okay, just do this. And he would have all the ships and everybody. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to come around this way. We're going to go around there. Blah, 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 blah. and everything will work out fine. And every time the plan didn't work, it was because somebody veered off of what he said to do. And then the good guys were able to escape when somebody didn't do what he said to do. Um, so yes, he was very, there wasn't, I don't remember as much of him appreciating the art of cultures as much as they did when they got into Rebels.
Okay, I was wondering, that was my next question, so I'm glad you
Yeah.
know.
So I, like I said, I don't remember it as much. Now it could still be in there, but from what I remember from reading them, I didn't I don't remember him talking about it as much as he did in Rebels. So I think that might have been where he has evolved in Rebels to make him even more strategic. But he was always very strategic, very manipulative. There was even in some of the earlier books, this is the only thing I didn't like in the movies. Darth Vader is the biggest, the baddest. Everybody was deathly afraid of Darth Vader.
Mhm,
In
mhm.
this, Zaun was, or not Zaun, Thrawn was way smarter than Darth Vader, almost to the point that they made Darth Vader just like a thug, like
Yeah,
only rules with an iron fist. Where Thrawn could outsmart Vader every single time, but Vader could just like pummel or use the force or whatever to get his way. But like Vader's ideas and Thrawn's ideas were always better than Vader's ideas. So it was interesting that take. And I don't know. And I'm sure there's other books where they make, because it's easy to smack Vader around in a book a little bit because
mhm.
in the movies, he's such a big baddie. So it's like, "Ooh,
Yes.
but my character can do this and Vader can't," type of thing. So that's the only thing that I didn't really like, but it did also show how smart Zon or not, how smart Thrawn was because it made him always outthink Vader. I think he could have done it without making Vader look like just a big meathead, which is what they wind up doing sometimes.
Yeah.
So, um, but yeah, so that's that. So I just enjoyed Zaun's writing as a whole as well. So that's
Yep.
why I even read like Scoundrels. I was like, oh, here's the Timothy Zahn book, and I want to read this, and it was fun. So yeah, so Thrawn is amazing in the books. And all three versions of the trilogies or different book series is I guess of them. So
I was gonna say, we still have 6 more to talk about, so
yes, yes, we
so
do.
yeah, so Thrawn re-debuted into canon universe in 2017 with the book called Thrawn.
Uh-huh.
Super simple, easy to find. But this one was interesting because it was less of like Thrawn telling the story or being that main character, but more so we get the perspective from a cadet named Eli Vanto. And so that's where he became like Thrawn's protege in a lot of ways. It was really interesting just um like seeing the world through Eli's viewpoint. I thought was great because it felt like we were actually watching it as it was happening too. So we got to watch as he went just full Sherlock Holmes but in space. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, when you said Sherlock Holmes was an inspiration for Thrawn, I'm like, "Oh yeah, that
Oh
is
yeah.
spot on."
Yep. Uh-huh.
Because he
100%.
sees the puzzles, he
Yes.
sees all of the mysteries, he
Uh-huh.
is able to figure this out as he just keeps on going up and up and up and up through the ranks of the Empire.
Yes. And he
That's
ran in who was doing the Death Star plans? It was like Vader and who's the other guy also? Oh, I can't remember.
I
But he
don't
was
remember
always
either.
having battles with other people in the Empire as he was going up. So yeah, I loved it. It was a great book. I have that one too. I think that was the first one that I read.
Yeah. It was a great place to start, and especially that mystery of why did he get exiled from the Chiss? Like,
Right.
what is he
Uh-huh.
doing in the Empire? Like, is he actually here for that, or what's the whole purpose? Like, there was a mystery within the mystery.
Yes. Yeah.
So, yep.
100%.
And then we move on to alliances, and alliances is where we get a lot more of that Vader time that you've just been clamoring for because we spend a lot of time focusing on a mission that Vader and Thrawn went on during the Clone Wars, except it was Vader and Anakin.
This was a great book. I loved the flashback with him and Anakin, and then the flash forward with him and Darth Vader. Yes, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that Thrawn was smart enough to figure out that it was the same person was great.
Mhm.
It's still one of my absolute favorite moments. I remember listening to the audiobook for this one when Anakin was trying to say Thrawn's full name, and the poor audiobook person is, like, saying it correctly, basically, but Thrawn's like, "No, that's not quite right." It's like, "Yeah, I said Mitth'raw'nuruodo." Nope, that's
Yeah.
still not quite it.
Nope, still not right. Still not
Yeah.
right. You're still wrong.
Yep.
I can
Yep.
only imagine hearing the guy. I can't even say it, so I'm not even gonna try to say it.
Yeah, I'm just pretending like I'm the audiobook reader,
Mhm.
so but yeah, you're so right. Like it was just such a great pairing of the two of them, and Zahn did a great job, like letting them both be kind of peak of how they were, because their contrast is just so fulfilling, great to see. Because like Anakin, he's reckless. He jumps in. He's gonna win because he's the chosen one, or not, whatever. Uh, and then Thrawn's always just like, "Stop being so blunt, like, you can
Yeah,
be artful about this." So, which,
yeah.
it just makes for such goodness.
Yeah,
But
such it was such a good contradiction and such a good book, and like you said, the fact that Thrawn picked up on that he was the same person, but I don't think Darth Vader remembered Thrawn, right? If I recall correctly, like,
I don't think so. Yep.
yeah, he didn't remember him when it was Anakin, and I remember Thrawn even saying like, "Don't you remember me?" or something along those lines, and he was like, "No, why?"
Mhm.
He's like, "Okay."
Yep. Yep. It's so true. But great to have Vader get his moments to kind of grow up alongside him as well and figure that
Yeah,
out. So, and then book 3 in this series, the last one was Treason, which is where he started getting involved with Krennic and Project Stardust.
Rennick, that was it, yes.
Yeah. Yep. That's I was wondering if that's who we're trying to think of, but I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's
I don't
us.
know for sure. So
Yep,
yep. So this is where we start seeing a lot more of that conflict that they set up in the first book of, is Thrawn loyal to the Chiss, or is Thrawn loyal
right.
to the Empire? And what's he gonna pick? And in a way, it's kind of both, but it's confusing at both. And
Yeah. And it just goes to show, like, his intelligence that he could pick both at the same time because he can think that through so much that he can pick the Chiss and the Empire all at the same time. Um,
yeah.
so I did enjoy that as well, yes.
Yeah, which made it really cool because as he grew up throughout all of this, one of the defining features of the empire is their absolute xenophobia. Like it's all humans all the time throughout the
Mhm.
empire, and then you get this dude rising up to like the highest rank that's not emperor, and so he's figured out the bureaucracy because he's smarter than everyone else in the room. And in the end, like, he doesn't hate the Empire, he hates their inefficiency and their infighting, everyone just trying to outdo the next person
Yeah, yeah.
because it keeps ruining his plans.
Uh-huh. And it's same thing, it ruins, that people were always trying to, "Oh, well, if we just do this, then he won't succeed." And he's like, "Oh my god, you're messing it up for everybody." So, yeah,
Mhm.
just
Yeah, it's
just do what I say already, you know?
it's just incredible that this core value of, like, competence and order is able to just hold true for him throughout all of this,
Yeah.
even, without it around him.
And it
Yep.
is fun that that storyline of in the Empire just trying to succeed by knocking other people down continuously keeps coming up in different movies and shows and everything like that. Like it's always that even just happened in what was the last TV series? Andor. In
Andor.
Andor, it was coming up again where it was just like, oh no, you can't take credit for this. I did this and whatever. And they keep doing the same thing still. So
Yeah. It is just absolutely cutthroat that you have to succeed in it, even like within the ISBs where we're seeing it a lot too. It's like, man, no wonder you're just falling apart and people don't trust you. So,
Yeah, 100%.
yeah. So, after those books, we go on to the latest series of three, which is actually the prequel series. So, if you were going to start reading about Thrawn, this is probably the place you want to start, actually. Though I don't necessarily know how well they go together. I'd have to think on that one a little bit more.
Yeah.
But the Ascendancy trilogy is Thrawn Ascendancy, and the first book is called Chaos Rising. And this is where we see the beginning of Thrawn. He's the brilliant officer inside the Chiss Ascendancy, thus Ascendancy, but he's really controversial
Mhm.
because he's bringing methods that don't align with how the Chiss usually do stuff. Preemptive strikes or just trying to go against the like defensiveness of the Chiss. Usually their play is like protect what we've got, don't go outside of that. And so his play is like, nah, let's go show them our best defense is a good offense. And then he ends up being tasked with investigating an attack that happens inside the Chiss capital. And so he is put on a ship with Admiral Aralani, one of his like mentors, and you get an insight into how people who don't have nav computers get around. In this case, they
Yes.
use the force sensitive children.
Yes. And that was very interesting. They and wasn't one of them like older, if I recall?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, because
she
they're
was
only
like
supposed
a
to do until like 4, 5, 6. I don't remember exactly what it was, but one of them
yeah.
was 8 or 9. And it's like, you haven't lost your third eye yet?
Yeah, yeah, so that was interesting that they were also able to jump through hyperspace better than our nav systems did. So that was also interesting and that was a good twist on things. That was a very good twist on things.
Yeah, it was cool to see another take on the Force. It was sad to see that, like, there's
Yeah,
limitations of Force powers because we hadn't had that before. If you were a Jedi or you had the Force, you had it.
you had it. Yeah. Oh, and also
So
just the poor treatment that they got as well. They were basically just like slaves on the ships, been there just to be used as a tool to get them through hyperspace, and they didn't treat them as people. They were just objects rather than people.
they may as well have been nav computers. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Except for the one caretaker who was out there trying to defend the kid or whatever. It's like,
yeah,
man, this is terrible.
yeah.
But that's what happens in a society like that when they just have their strict rules that they go for. And when someone who's outside of that, like Thrawn, he's still seen as dangerous. Wherever he
Yep.
goes, he's a danger. Yep. So that takes us to book number 2, where we get to greater good. And that's where Thrawn is really dealing with a lot of the fallout of his controversy, like he does, of course. But part of the mystery and conspiracy that he's uncovering is this mysterious entity that we call the Grisk. So this shadowy race from the unknown regions, because that's where the Chiss are in the unknown
Yep,
regions. That's what we're all figuring out. The Grisk basically come in, manipulate the people around to turn them against themselves, and then take over the society when they're just kind of weak, right?
yep.
And so Thrawn, instead of being his strategic military person, has to come and be a diplomat. Again, just growing this character's extreme qualities of why he is so excellent.
Yes.
So I'm just like, how do you convince a society that doesn't trust you to not trust like people around or the enemies that are really a true threat to it? And it's just like, oh man, there is no way to do this.
Nope, not at all. And has he made it to the Empire yet? In this, is this the book that he's starts in the as a soldier in the Empire and working his way up, or no? Or is that the third one?
I think it's I want to say he might start getting there in this one.
Okay.
I don't remember it. Yeah, the crossover is getting me for sure.
Yeah.
Because I think you're right that he does move over to the Empire for this one, because if his people aren't listening, maybe the Empire needs to know about it. And so that's why he gets over into the Empire to know that he's got to protect his people from the Grisk. And
Right.
so
Yeah.
I think you're right, because I think that's where we get a lot of the questions of, is he there for Palpatine, or is he there just for this long game that he's really working out?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. That is right, now that I've thought about that. Um, because then the third book is really that big plan of his. Like, so much of this is him versus the Grisks, where he really breaks all of the Chiss laws, where he really sets himself up to get kicked out of the Ascendancy. Even to the point that he gets exiled by the Chiss.
Yep.
Um, and with Thrawn, you always have to assume there's a reason for everything that he does.
Yep. He's planning. He knows. He's like, I'm gonna do this to get kicked out so that I can make sure that I do my next step.
Yeah, which is just so on point, right? That this guy who wants competence and order is willing to sacrifice his own name and career and rank and all of these things for the greater good for his people.
Yep.
It really makes him a complicated enemy, right? Like, he's not
Yeah. Oh my
necessarily
gosh.
bad.
Like you find yourself rooting for him as you're
Yes.
reading the books. You're like rooting for him, and even like as it goes through all the struggles with the Chiss, he's doing it because he's trying to protect them as a whole. But his ways are not the normal ways. But he knows that the normal ways are not going to work. That this Gris is going to eventually take over their planet also, so he's trying to think outside the box, like you said. And then when he gets to the Empire, he's like, okay, I can get these, Empire people to help me out because they have a huge army.
Yeah.
And then he's just out thinking all of them as well. And he's trying to do everything he can to keep his soldiers that he has in the Empire. He doesn't want to, he's not trying to sacrifice anybody, but he also wants to make sure that his Chiss people are saved all at the same time. So he's really trying to do everything. And it is tough because as you're reading it, you're going, okay, go Thrawn. I got you. I got your back. Let's do this. And then you're like, oh, wait, he's the bad guy.
That's the Empire.
That's the
Yeah.
Empire.
It's like, oh,
Like,
it
couldn't you
it
do this for the rebels? Couldn't you? Can you imagine if he was on the rebel side, how awesome it would be? Like,
that would have been so different.
we would have destroyed the first moon and or the first Death Star and completely annihilated and wiped everybody out in the at the end of the first movie if he was there. So,
Mhm. I don't know if he joined the rebellion though, with how much he wants order and things, because the
oh,
rebellion had like none of that.
yeah, so much chaos. So much chaos,
Oh,
especially when you watch like Andor and you just saw
oh,
how in the
yes.
beginning how chaotic they were that he definitely would have would have blown a gasket.
Yeah, he would have. Oh man. So is it too bold of a take that throughout these books, especially Ascendancy, that Thrawn is more of a like a hero, maybe a tragic hero than a villain?
Yeah, because the same thing. Like these are more situations where he's planning and manipulating and planning attacks, and other people are messing it up for him and making him more of a victim than instead of just being a hero, he's more of, like you said, the tragic hero because people just won't do what he says. He's got the ideas, just do what he says. But thank goodness they don't. Otherwise, the story as a whole would go a whole lot different, and we would not be rooting for the good guys anymore. It would just be Thrawn and the Empire would be ruling everything
And we would hope that Thrawn would take over the Empire and fix everything, right?
and fix everything. Yes.
Yeah, instill the greater good into it. So, but in Star Wars Rebels, we get a very similar but different take on Thrawn. And as we move into the cartoon series, we see Thrawn in seasons 3 and 4, and he is what we in tabletop role playing called the Big Bad,
Yes,
because
100%.
he is truly like the rival to the Phoenix crew, everyone on the
Yep.
Ghost. And this, I feel like, was a great adaptation and really let him shine as he constantly outsmarted the Phoenix crew.
Oh, yes. But they kept getting away. They were like Scooby Doo. I would have got away with it if it wasn't for you kids. These kids kept
It's
getting away, which is a good thing.
it's true. Yeah, you kind of need that for the story, but yeah, it
Yeah.
was great though. Like it felt like how it was supposed to because of the resources the Empire had, because of how smart and calculated Thrawn was. He should know all of this.
Yes.
And it brought out so many like cool moments and just opportunities to do it. Like for example, you talked about art before, like how well he figured out Sabine based on how
Uh-huh.
much art that Sabine the Mandalorian did. He was able to figure out all of her Mandalorian tactics, know her strategies. Like it was a really great thing that they carried over from the EU that I feel like could have been lost, but it makes him so unique because of this. I love that he looks at art and is like, "I get it. I
Yeah.
understand you."
I understand you through your art. And he collects all their art after he takes over and steals it from them, basically. He collects it, he steals it.
It's
Um,
like the British Museum. Yep.
yeah. So, what are you talking about?
What? What?
What? So he yeah, that way he can hold on to it and he can keep studying it and keep analyzing it and what was the wooden thing that she had with
It had
like
like the
her
family
the
legacy on
family
it.
heirloom and the family legacy,
Yeah.
yeah, and he
I keep on wanting to
knew
call it the Leku, but that's not it.
it's
So,
not it. No, that's their hair things or the leku, but yeah,
yep, yep.
whatever that was called. But yeah, he knew all about her by studying that and everything. So yeah,
Yeah.
he was a great and also I keep throwing things back to Andor, but I wonder if that's why in Andor there was so much with the art collector.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, as like a nod to Thrawn type of thing. Interesting. That just popped into my head. Look at me go. That's if
Thrawn's
I
gonna raid that place for sure.
he oh my gosh, he would take all of it in a heartbeat. He it probably some of it
Mhm.
came from him at some point in time too.
Yep. Yep. That's probably true. So,
And
one of
Rebels, I don't care. I don't watch cartoons, people. Watch Rebels. It is such a good this is my soapbox. It's such a good story. The stories in it are so good. Once you get past the first episode, which is kind of like Aladdin, them meeting um what's his name?
Ezra.
Ezra, yeah. Them meeting Ezra, they steal the whole plot line from Aladdin, but then after that, episode 2 and on, so much better. And
Yeah,
even as the seasons go on, it gets deeper and deeper and deeper, and it's such a good storytelling.
it is. And you know, and you get great moments like the way that season 3 ended with the giant battle of I don't know, was it Adelon or Atolan? I don't remember
Uh-huh.
how to pronounce it. But like just that fight is like Thrawn's signature moment, I feel like right now.
Yes. Yep. 100%.
So even even in his defeat, which you have to know about if you've been watching Ahsoka and seen him show up,
Yeah.
he like he wasn't beaten because he was outsmarted in terms of like military strategy or because he was outgunned. It was purely because someone went even further out of the box than he
Yep.
does in his strategies.
Yep.
And it's so cool that something like that could happen in the moment. There's no way even Thrawn could have predicted it.
Nope.
It's just so good. It's so
Yes.
satisfying.
I agree
And
100%.
Thrawn being left as a mystery was kind of a cool ending.
Yeah.
I'm not upset that I got more of him though. So
No. No, not at all. I wish it was better what we got once we got to Ahsoka.
it's
And
true.
maybe now season 2 just wrapped up filming, which also one of the articles, multiple articles anyway, were those clickbaity things about how Rosario Dawson was replaced in Ahsoka, and then it was like, oh well, they went back to the girl who did the voice in the Lego series, and, so Rosario so they're trying to say that Rosario Dawson was placed in Ahsoka as Ahsoka in the new Lego
Oh my
TV show,
gosh.
but the way the headline was, it was like, "Oh my gosh, like, how are you replacing Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka?" They weren't, but anyway, yes.
It's like the only way they do that is if you go back to Ashley Eckstein.
Yeah,
Like,
and I think she was the voice in the
yeah,
Legos, but it was like, yeah, they went back to Ashley for the Legos, and I was like, "Oh my god." So, yeah,
yeah,
whatever, but anyway, now
can't
we're
do
getting
it.
into, the live action of Ahsoka, where we
Yeah.
see Thrawn.
I pit stopped because I
Okay.
played Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes on my phone for like 5 years. Way too much time on that game, but man, did I have tons of fun, and when Thrawn
Oh, yeah.
finally came to that game, I was so hyped because they did him a lot of justice. Because he was just very tactical, very unique strategy to play around him. So I'm like, "I want this dude so bad." Like,
Yes.
I will do whatever it takes. So, definitely influenced me a lot as I was thinking about that game and playing through it, so but he came to reality, like you said, he came to Ahsoka, finally, we've been waiting for this.
Yes.
Ugh, but he's different again.
He's
So we
different
have
again.
this he's like he's been in exile, so he's patient, he's a lot more, like, weathered and battle torn, and he's just kind of a different kind of leader because of how
Mhm.
he's had to survive somewhere different. So we don't get that awesome military leader of this
No.
giant fleet. So he's just stuck with what he's got. So
Mhm.
the few loyal people, the Night Sisters, and then the night troopers that come with the Night Sisters as well. And so making do with what he gets. Uh, but all he wants to do is get out. Like, he's
Yeah.
just trying to get out. Like, I don't blame him. Probably wants to get back to where he was, make sure his people are okay, figure out what he can do with the Empire, and just make it happen. And then, oh, what do you know? It's Ahsoka, Sabine, and Ezra showing up.
All right, I'm gonna steal their ship and get out.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like
Um,
he didn't look as good as what I feel like he had
no, no, and that was the other thing, like, I know it was the same person who played him that did the voice of him in the cartoon,
Yep.
but in every picture from the comics to the cartoon to even the way they describe him in all the books, he's definitely a more svelte, more well put together person than the person that we got. Now, I don't know if they said to what's his name? Is it Lars or something like that? I forget what his name is.
Lars Mikkelsen.
Yeah. I don't know if they said to Lars Mikkelsen, like, it doesn't matter, because you've been in exile, so we don't care. But I feel like he should have been in better shape. I know, like, The Rock's in some new movie, he put on like 60 pounds of muscle um, for the new movie that he's in, and he was already a huge dude to begin with. Like,
Mhm.
if you're gonna have him as Thrawn, you can he will be a. I feel like he should be a person who would be like, I'll lose 20 pounds, 30 pounds to fit into, because he did the voice of him, so he knows how he looks in all the cartoons.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
why wouldn't you? Like, his face looks just like it, but his body was more of like dad. It was kind of like dad bod,
It kind of
um,
was.
Boba Fett. Like, it was a similar thing, like dad bod Thrawn, and it was like, oh, and like, how did he get his military suit to still fit him after putting on those extra pounds? They didn't have a seamstress on board that ship, I'm sure. So, yeah, so that was a
Got
little
lucky with the
disappointing.
right droid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but that
Yeah,
was definitely disappointing to me. I was like, "Oh, Lars, like, come on, man."
yeah.
Like, this is what actors do. Actors get into shape or get out of shape. Tom Hanks, when he filmed Castaway,
Castaway.
He said he lost like 50 pounds for the role, and they said, "Well, how did you put it back on?" And he said, "It's easy to find it after you lose it, let me tell you."
Yeah, that's
And
so true.
it's so true. But yeah, I don't know. That was the only thing that I was disappointed with. Like you said, also he wasn't as manipulative and all that good stuff. So he was definitely
Yeah.
almost like a different character. Now, maybe season two rolls around and he's because now he's back in the
The known
Empire's area, the
universe.
known universe. Yeah, now he's back in the known universe. He's rebuilding, he's rebranding, he's doing whatever. Maybe he's now stronger, better, skinnier, whatever. Maybe we get the old Thrawn back, which would be awesome if we do. But
Yeah, I really hope the writing does him a lot more justice because I want him to be calculated. Because exactly like you're saying, he is thread up to do the heir of the empire part. That's
yeah,
what we want. That's what we want this to be. But it can't just be him escaping. You can't flip him around and have him become the Phoenix crew to everything. He needs like decisive wins to put the New
yes,
Republic in the place. And whether this builds up to him transitioning over to the First Order with the group or whatever that becomes, like he's got to win until he actually loses.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, I think that takes us, unless you have them in any other video games, that takes us up to the current moment, right?
Yeah, we are here. And so
We are here.
now it's a game of like what does he become? Like how much does he embrace the history that we've seen of him rising up through this evil regime, which really adds to I think a lot of that moral complexity that he has of not just a bad guy but a good guy through any means necessary. And what does it look like? What's next? Like what else is going to be brought in? Are we going to get the Grisk? Like are they going to show up and become a bigger
Yeah.
threat and that's how he's going to disappear?
Yeah, that would be
It's
pretty cool. I don't know. We have to wait and see, unfortunately. Does he even make an appearance? I don't think it's the same timeline. No, it gets close to the same timeline. If he could even make an appearance in Mando and Grogu, or do
oh,
they do
interesting.
a Marvel trick where at the very end after the credits you just see Thrawn and he just goes, "I'm back, baby," and you're just like,
Oh,
"Oh no."
now we're talking.
Now we're
Now we're
talking.
talking.
So I
Yeah,
don't know,
who
but
doesn't
yeah,
love a good post-credit scene, right?
yep, exactly.
Yeah. The other thing I have in my notes that a Star Wars friend told me I'm supposed to ask you about is like the Isalamiri. There's a lot of weird letters in here for me. I
Okay.
don't know much about them other than someone was like, they cancel force powers. And I'm like,
Oh,
that's
yes.
interesting.
Yeah, they were like the way I read them, I could be mistaken, but the way I read it and the way I took it, they were kinda like sloth-like creatures,
Okay.
and they, like, lived in trees, but Thrawn would have them on the bridge of his ship, so that way if anybody with force powers tried to come in and, like, kill him with force powers, he couldn't because they would take away your force powers. Um, so there was even a part in I'm trying to think which book it was. Not that chapter. In I think it was in Allegiance. Nope, not an Allegiance. Survivor's Quest. In Survivor's Quest, there was a part where Mara Jane and Luke Skywalker were um, on this planet. They were looking for a crash ship and stuff. And they're on this planet, and there were other creatures that were like hunting them down. Like big animals, like lions and stuff like that, but like
Mhm.
monster creatures from other planets and stuff. And they couldn't use their force powers, and they couldn't figure out why they weren't able to use their force powers. It's because those creatures were also all over the planet. So they take away, they suck away your ability to use the force, which is pretty interesting. So yeah, so they were neat creatures. He used them a lot. Like I said, Thrawn had them. Thrawn figured them out. He used them a lot on purpose. And I want to say somehow people wound up killing them so that they could attack Thrawn. But yeah, but they were there. They were neat. They were good creatures. They were good. It's like for every good thing, there's a bad thing. So they were the antidote to force powers. So they're neat creatures. So definitely a fun part
See,
of the books.
that sounds cool. Like, I feel like that kind of cheat code is something that they could bring in to really make
Yeah.
Thrawn feel like smarter or
Uh huh.
make any sort of combat he gets in with them feel a little more realistic as they go through it. So I'm
Yeah.
like, you could bring that element in into this new season, right?
Yeah, because see, there's no way he could fight off a Jedi with a lightsaber and their skills and all that stuff. But you take away all their extra abilities to be able to see things coming early, and their abilities to use the Force against you. It really evens the playing field more. So they were
Yeah.
pretty cool. So yeah,
Who would have thought? A Timothy Zahn novel with great ideas.
what a surprise!
Wow.
Wow,
Wow.
who who would have thought it?
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I think that pretty much wraps it up then, right? You got anything else? Any more
No,
Thrawn questions or comments or concerns out there?
just he's the galaxy's only hope. It's clear.
He
So
is. It's clear. It's clear. He's the only good guy you want to root, or the only bad guy you want to root for.
that's right.
So, all right. Well, with that note, I think hopefully we gave you some insight on where you can find out more things about Thrawn, whether you want to know old school, new school comics, cartoons, or live action. There's all different places you can go read, watch, listen to, whatever you want to do. So, as we both turned blue in our Chiss Halloween costumes, we turn out to be two versions of Thrawn and Chiss. I think that's it for this week. We will see you. Oh, last week, by the way, James, you weren't there, but we did a round the Dejeric table that dropped last week. So that was a lot of fun. We did some what ifs in there. So we made up our own theories on what if Jar Jar, a lot of it revolved around Jar Jar for some reason. So if you didn't check it out, check it out. Yeah.
Something about him. All right.
Something about Jar Jar. He's just that type of guy. So, all right. Well, from all of us here at Bantha Milk Studio in New Jersey, in Wisconsin, and of course in the trailer all the way out there in California, we have spoken.
We have spoken.